One evening, after eating a hearty meal, Maui lay beside his fire staring into the flames. He watched the flames flicker and dance and thought to himself, I wonder where fire comes from. Maui, being the curious person that he was, decided that he needed to find out. In the middle of the night, while everyone was sleeping, Maui went from village to village and extinguished all the fires until not a single fire burned in the world. He then went back to his ware and waited. The next morning there was an uproar in the village. How can we cook our breakfast when there's no fire? Called a worried mother. How will we keep warm at night? Cried another. We can't possibly live without fire, the villagers said to one another. The people of the village were frightened. They asked Turanga, who was their leader, to help solve the problem. Someone will have to go and see the great goddess Mahuika and ask her for her fire, said Turanga. None of the villagers were eager to see Mahuika. They had all heard of the scorching mountain where she lived, so Maui offered to set out in search of Mahuika, secretly glad that his plan had worked. Be very careful, said Turanga. Although you are a descendant of Mahuika, she will not take kindly to you if you try and trick her. I will find the great ancestress Mahuika and bring fire back to the world, Maui assured his mother. Maui walked to the scorching mountain to the end of the earth, following the instructions from his mother, and found a huge mountain glowing red hot with heat. At the base of the mountain, Maui saw a cave entrance. Before he entered, Maui whispered a special prayer to protect himself from what lay beyond, but nothing could prepare Maui for what he saw when he entered the sacred mountain of Mahuika. Mahuika, the goddess, rose up before him, fire burning from every pore of her body, her hair a mass of flames, her arms outstretched, and with only black holes where her eyes once were. She sniffed the air. Who is this mortal that dares to enter my dwelling? Maui gathered the courage to speak. It is I, Maui, son of Turanga. Huh? Yelled Mahuika. Maui, the son of Turanga? Yes, the last born, Maui, Tiki Tiki a Turanga. Well then, Maui, Tiki Tiki a Turanga, welcome. Welcome to the essence of the flame. Welcome, my grandchild. Mahuika stepped closer to Maui, taking a deep sniff of his scent. Maui stood completely still, even though the flames from Mahuika's skin were unbearably hot. So why do you come, Maui Tiki Tiki a Turanga? Mahuika finally asked. Maui said, The fires of the world have been extinguished. I have come to ask you for fire. Mahuika listened carefully to Maui, and then she laughed. She pulled a fingernail from one of her burning fingers and gave it to him. Take this fire as a gift to your people. Honor this fire as you honor me. So Maui left the house of Mahuika, taking with him the fingernail of fire. As Maui walked alongside the mountain, he thought to himself, what if Mahuika had no fire left? Then where would she get her fire from? Maui could not contain his curiosity anymore. He quickly threw the fingernail into the stream and headed back to Mahuika's cave. I tripped and fell, said Maui. Could I please have another? Mahuika was in a good mood. She had not spoken to someone in quite some time and she liked Maui. She gladly gave Maui another one of her fingernails. But Maui soon extinguished this fingernail as well, and returned to Mahuika with another excuse. A fish splashed my flame as I was crossing the river, Maui said. Mahuika provided another one of her fingernails, not suspecting that she was being tricked. This continued for most of the day until Mahuika had used all her fingernails and had even given up her toenails. When Maui returned to ask for another, Mahuika was furious. She knew Maui had been tricking her and threw the burning toenail to the ground. Instantly, Maui was surrounded by fire and chased from the cave. Maui changed himself into a hawk and escaped to the sky, but the flames burned so high that they singed the underside of his wings, turning them a glowing red. Maui dived towards the river, hoping to avoid the flames in the coolness of the water, but the immense heat made the water boil. Maui was desperate. He called on his ancestor Tawari Matia, the god of weather, for help. Suddenly, a mass of clouds gathered and rain fell upon the many fires. Mahuika's mountain of fire no longer burned hot. Mahuika had lost much of her power, but still she was not giving up. She took her very last toenail and threw it at Maui in anger. The toenail of fire missed Maui and flew into a tree. This tree cherished and held onto the fire of Mahuika, considering it a great gift. When Maui returned to his village, he did not bring back fire as the villagers had expected. Instead, he brought back dry wood from the tree and showed them how to rub the dry sticks together, forming friction, which would start a fire. The villagers were very happy to be able to have their fire back once more. And that is the story of how Maui brought fire to the world.